Hi, my name is Antonie, and you just got off the bus at Storytelling Street. Today, we're going to examine the single most important thing for a movie: having a relatable protagonist. Protagonists are an essential component of storytelling. There have been many different protagonists over the years. Good ones, bad ones, female ones. But what makes for a great protagonist is their ability to establish a connection with the audience. To connect to a protagonist, the audience must be able to relate to them. That's why they're called relatable. Mr. or Mrs. Webster defines relatable as able to be related to. When a writer chooses to make their hero relatable, we, the audience, are able to understand that hero and root for them to succeed. Watching a movie with a relatable protagonist is like eating a bag of potato chips. It's very enjoyable. But why is relatability so important? Is the human experience not so universally trying that to glimpse another soul's struggle, even across the gulf of a screen, enough to elicit sympathy and respect? No. Great art is about seeing things you already know and being made to feel good. Roger Ebert. That's how I felt watching Travis Bickle. Travis Bickle is a relatable protagonist. In Taxi Driver, directed by Martin Scorsese, my favorite underrated filmmaker, Robert De Niro plays Travis Bickle, a taxi driver. Even though Travis is tough and handsome and sensitive, he is unable to get a girlfriend, which makes him relatable. He decides to become a vigilante, a relatable decision, and then starts the second half of being relatable, doing a bunch of cool shit. He gets into shape, dons badass sunglasses, and invents the mohawk before going out to bring justice to the streets. And when he succeeds, he not only returns a little girl to her family, but wins the affection of the woman he loves. This reminds the audience that although we may have struck out with women, like Travis did at the beginning of the film, we can eventually win them over with violence. In our own way, we are all Travis Bickle. Patrick Bateman is a relatable protagonist. Like Travis, Patrick is a man who takes his health very seriously and seeks the affection of women around him. Patrick is very self-conscious, which is relatable, as we see in scenes like this one, where he and his business associates compare business cards. A relatable activity. This humanizes Patrick, as the audience can connect to someone who fears what their friends think of them. Patrick also enjoys having money and uses it to purchase fancy items for his apartment, like music. He enjoys explaining his opinions on art to other people, another relatable activity. By viewing Patrick Bateman performing these activities, the audience can imagine themselves in his position, relating to him. Patrick Bateman could be any one of us, and there are likely thousands of him out there in the world. Tomorrow, you could meet Patrick Bateman. Barry B. Benson is a relatable protagonist. He is the most unconventional protagonist we have covered thus far, because he is a bee and not a human, like me. However, he still has many relatable traits. He is a post-grad, unsure of what to do with his life, in a bee society, where bees find identity and purpose in their occupations. We too live in a society. Barry also chooses to reveal a millennia-old secret to literally apocalyptic results in order to talk to a woman he finds attractive. This is relatable, because sometimes you get so goddamn horny you just feel like ending the world. And it's good that Jerry Seinfeld communicated this lesson to children. Barry B. Benson has a supportive best friend, like we all do, who is distinguishable from Barry, the protagonist, because he is less conventionally attractive. His goals are boring and do not matter because he is not the protagonist. In a good story, only the protagonist's objective matters. When multiple characters have conflicting objectives, it becomes challenging to watch, which is bad. In the words of Jeremy CinemaSins, ding! Barry also wants to date a woman with an enormous age gap to himself, which is relatable. If you are Jerry Seinfeld, when you go out into the world, you could meet Jerry Seinfeld. And now we come to the question, what is a protagonist? For the democratic response, let's ask Google. Protagonist. Noun. The leading character, or one of the leading characters in a drama, movie, novel, or other fictional text. I personally define protagonist as the character I relate the most to. That is why it is good to have a relatable protagonist. Writing a relatable protagonist is like eating a bag of potato chips. It's very easy, and I don't know why some people choose not to do it. Hopefully, these examples will allow you to write your own relatable and therefore superior protagonists, and recognize and appreciate those of other storytellers. If you enjoyed this video, please consider following me on Twitter, joining my subreddit, and pledging to my Patreon.